Hey, this is Russ, and I'm going to quickly show off a couple of the AGI Studio tools that are built into CrafterCMS and Crafter Studio as a plugin. And you can see that this project changes sort of the default behavior of Crafter Studio for this project. So at the top, we've got an ability to add existing games to the system. We can see what room you're in the current game that you're playing, a room selector, which allows you to sort of teleport from room to room, a ability to play sounds from the games, allow the player to enter input. So for example, change from program control to player control, the ability to position the ego, to change the priority buffer. So for example, just switching here to see the priority buffer. This is an ability to decode existing assets. And then we have an ability to edit the current picture and save it, or edit the priority buffer and save it, and then edit sprites, which I'm going to show off here in just a second. And then finally, ability to compile the resources of the game, including the AGI scripts, the views, and the pictures and the sounds. All of the other assets that are not code are stored as JSON. Compile those into resource volumes and directory files. Well, I have a challenge that I have to do, which is I want to make a death scene for Roger, and this is where he runs into the sorcerer, and I want to turn him to stone. So I've already created a JSON object that for this particular view, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the view editor, and I'm going to select this Roger Stone view here, and it only has one loop. And you can see I've set it up so that we've got a number of different cells in that loop. So I'm going to start with the first cell. We'll keep him in full color. And then we're going to just start by turning him to stone. So what we'll do is we're just going to, first cell, he's just got a little bit of stone. And the next cell, we'll add a little bit more. And the next cell, a little bit more. And I'm going to speed it up as he goes up. But really all I'm going to do in this case, this is a really easy one, is just change these particular blocks over to something that kind of resembles stone. It'll probably appear really fast through this section because of Roger's outfit. But you can see that this tool, what we're able to do is kind of blow up a particular view to something quite large, and then you can see each of the cells, and you can pick any color you want and just change it to whatever color you want. So it kind of shows you what the web tools look like. So with that, I'm going to finish this off, and then I will come back and I'll show you how we add this to the game, and then compile it, and then we'll go see it in the game. Okay, I've finished changing each of the cells. So you can see, for example, if I click here, you can see a little bit more. If I click all the way here, you can see a little bit more. And I can actually play the animation just sort of by scrolling this and seeing how it progresses and what I think of that. And once I'm happy, just click Save View. Now that the view is saved, we can go to our logic and put this in the game, and then we'll come back here and compile it. So let's go do that. And I'm going to try and do this in a way that shows the least amount of spoilers possible. And so let's jump over to the code editor. And the first thing I want to do is I want to be able to reference the views and pictures and things like that as symbolic names, which we call defines in the AGI programming language. So here I'm going to define a constant called Roger Stoned, and I'm going to give it a value of 100. And then what I need to do is jump into the room where Roger gets caught by the wizard, and I want to program an action on that activity. So we've got a monster, and the monster is told based on a random value whether or not he exists, and if he does, he's going to chase after Roger, and when he catches him, he's going to throw a flag called gotcha. Now, if we receive the gotcha flag, ultimately we're going to kill Roger. So if it's the first time we receive this flag, and we basically have some logic here that handles the fact that this stuff gets called in a loop, and that's kind of outside the scope of this example here. But if we catch Roger, we're going to stop Roger's motion. We're going to stop the sorcerer's motion. And then we're going to load the view called Roger Stoned. We're going to set our ego's view to that, and then assign a reason why Roger died and play the animation. And the reason why we set the reason why he died is because then in the main loop, where I sort of centralized all this stuff, and again, just kind of trying to keep this spoiler free as possible, we say if Roger died because he's stoned, we basically print out a message and we set this flag, which means that he's dead, and then we can do some other things in the main loop. Okay, so that's all it takes to get the code done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back to our tools, and I'm going to hit compile. This compiles the game for us. So now let's jump over to another window where we can test. Okay, you can see I'm in a specific screen here. I've used the restore feature to jump to a specific location in the game, close to the sorcerer, and I've got some debugging set on here so we can see some things running on the screen here as we move the ego. I have this on the fastest mode. Let's change that to fast speed. So Roger moves a little bit slower so we can kind of see the animation. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next screen and let the random number generator see if we get the wizard. If I don't get the wizard, I'm going to come back. So let's jump out here. Okay, so we did not get the wizard, so I'm going to go back into this screen, jump over again. No wizard. It's actually a sorcerer. Ah, there he is. And boom, it says, the sorcerer zaps you with a spell. You've been quickly turned to stone. You always dreamed of being immortalized in a statue? Congratulations, you got your wish. Unfortunately, you are also now dead. And that's it. I had the sound off, so we actually didn't get the death march there, but we should have. And so now we've seen a complete activity where we wanted to make this happen. We went ahead and built the view for it, used the Crafter Studio tools to build that view, code it into the AGI files, go back to Studio, run the build, and then go to the game and play it.